Stop building Durin like he's just another generic DPS character. If you are slapping a standard attack build on him and calling it a day, you are completely ignoring half of his kit and missing out on the massive damage boost he gives to your account. Looking for the best way to recharge in Genshin Impact? Loot Bar is the smarter choice. It works exactly like the in-game top-up, but it's way more affordable. New users get 10% off with the link in the pinned comment, and users can receive an additional 5% discount coupon. Loot Bar also has special deals on crystal packs, including the 6480 bundle, and even an all-in-one package with everything you need. See this? The regular $100 pack only costs $80 on Loot Bar. The process is simple and secure. You don't need your password or login. Just enter your UID, pick your server, choose your pack, and your crystals are delivered in seconds. Players around the world trust Loot Bar because it's fast, safe, and affordable. So don't waste your money. Click the link in the description or pinned comment and start saving on your top-ups today. Loot Bar, safe, fast, and way more affordable. But first, here are the winners from November giveaway and a quick reminder about the new giveaways. Both of the 6480 Genesis Crystals giveaways are active right now and will stay open until December 31st. I'll be announcing the winners on January 1st. As always, these are part of the monthly giveaways we do here on the channel, so if you haven't joined yet, make sure you do. All you need to do is be subscribed, watch all the videos, and comment your UID and region. Most players see a 5-star Pyro sword user and immediately think they need to make him the star of the show, dealing all the damage on the field. But Durin is different. He is actually a wolf in sheep's clothing, or rather a dragon in human clothing. He has a split personality mechanic that allows him to be either a heavy-hitting damage dealer or one of the best supports we have seen in a long time. If you don't understand how to control his purity and darkness states, you are going to bench him within a week. Today, we are going to fix that. We are going to break down exactly how his stance switching mechanic works, so you don't mess up your rotations. We're going to look at the specific weapons that actually work for him, including some free-to-play options that surprise a lot of people. And we are going to talk about the one artifact set that everyone seems to be underestimating. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to slot Durin into Overload, Burning, and Hypercarry teams to wreck the Abyss. Let's start with the basics, because Durin's kit is a bit like a puzzle. He is a Pyro sword user, and his whole gimmick revolves around two specific states. You have the confirmation of purity and the denial of darkness. Think of it like a fork in the road. Every time you use his elemental skill, you get a status called Essential Transmutation. This is your decision point. You have a split second to decide what you want Durin to do. If you press his skill button again, you enter the purity state. This is his support mode. He summons the Dragon of White Flame. This dragon is your best friend because it follows your active character around and deals pyro damage. But the damage isn't the main point here. The real value is the resistance shred. When your team triggers reactions like burning, overloaded, pyro swirl, or pyro crystallize, this white dragon shreds the enemy's resistance to pyro and whatever other element you used. This makes him incredible for dual element teams. Now, let's look at the other path. If you use his skill and then immediately use a normal attack, you enter the darkness state. This is the damage mode. He summons the Dragon of Dark Decay. This dragon doesn't care about supporting your friends. It cares about hurting the enemy. It attacks a single target, and while you are in this state, Durin gets a massive 40% damage boost to his Vaporize and Melt damage. So the problem most people run into is that they try to build him for both things at once, or they get confused in the heat of battle and trigger the wrong dragon. You need to decide before the fight starts. Is he here to help Arlecchino do big numbers, or is he here to be the one doing the big numbers? This decision dictates your talent priority. No matter which way you play him, his elemental burst is the most important part of his kit. It's where a huge chunk of his value comes from, so you want to level that up to 10 as fast as possible. After that, prioritize his skill. You can honestly leave his normal attack talent at level 1. Even in his damage mode, the damage is coming from the dragon and the reaction buffs, not his physical sword swings. Save your materials. Now let's talk about gear, because this is where things get tricky. Durin is stat hungry. He wants attack, he wants crit, and he wants to use his burst on cooldown. For weapons, if you have his signature sword, the Athame Artis, use it. It gives a massive crit rate boost and buffs his burst damage. It also gives an attack buff to the whole team, which fits his hybrid nature perfectly. But I know not everyone wants to spend hundreds of dollars on the weapon banner. If you have a Mist Splitter Reforged lying around, it's an amazing stat stick. It gives you a ton of crit damage and elemental damage bonuses. The Primordial Jade Cutter is another top-tier option because it gives you so much crit rate that you can basically ignore that stat on your artifacts and focus entirely on crit damage and attack. But what if you are free to play? Or what if you just have terrible luck with weapon banners? You actually have a great option in the Wolf Fang. It's a 4-star weapon that boosts crit rate and increases skill and burst damage. It's solid. There is also the Finale of the Deep, which gives a lot of attack, or Moonweaver's Dawn if you need that burst damage increase. Don't feel like you need a 5-star weapon to make him viable. He works just fine with these 4-star options if your artifacts are decent. Speaking of artifacts, this is where I see the biggest arguments in the community. People want to see big damage numbers, so they immediately go for sets like Crimson Witch of Flames. And look, Crimson Witch is good. If you are playing him in that darkness state and you want to see big vaporize or melt numbers, Crimson Witch is going to give you that dopamine hit. It boosts all those reaction damages. If you are a min-maxer trying to see the biggest number possible on a screenshot, go for it. But for 90% of players, the best set is actually Noblesse Oblige. I know, it's boring. It's the set we have been farming since the game launched. But it is just so efficient on him. Durin wants to use his burst constantly. Noblesse boosts that burst damage by 20%, which is great for him. But more importantly, it gives your entire team a 20% attack buff. Since Durin is often used as a sub-DPS or support who swaps in, does his thing and swaps out, this team-wide buff is usually worth way more total damage than squeezing a little bit more personal damage out of Durin himself. If you don't have a good Noblesse set, you can mix and match. 2 pieces of an attack set like Gladiator's Finale or Shimenawa mixed with another 2-piece attack set works. It's easier to farm, and it helps you hit his stat requirements. Let's look at the stats you are hunting for. You want an attack percentage sans. That is non-negotiable. For the goblet, you usually want pyro damage bonus. However, and this is a big however, if your Durin has low attack, say under 2500, you might actually get better results with an attack percentage goblet. He scales really hard with attack. So if you are struggling to find a good pyro goblet, don't be afraid to run an attack 1. For the circlet, go for crit rate or crit damage, whichever one balances your ratio closer to 1 to 2. One thing you might have noticed I haven't mentioned much is energy recharge. That is because Durin's elemental skill generates a surprising amount of energy. He is not like some other burst-dependent characters who need to run an energy recharge sans just to function. You can usually get away with just a few substat rolls into energy recharge and be totally fine. Now, we need to talk about where he fits. You have built him, you gave him a sword, now who does he hang out with? Durin shines in teams that leverage his resistance shred and his constant off-field pyro application. The first team you should try is an overloaded team. This reaction used to be a meme, but characters like Chevreuse have made it incredibly strong. Imagine running Durin with Arlecchino, Fischl, and Chevreuse. You have Arlecchino dealing massive pyro damage on field, you have Fischl applying Electro, and then you have Durin. You pop his Purity state, and suddenly enemies have their resistance shredded to both Pyro and Electro. It's a chaotic mess of explosions, and it clears rooms instantly. Durin works as the perfect bridge here because he keeps the Pyro aura on enemies, so Fischl can trigger the reactions. Another fantastic option is a burning team. With the release of characters like Kinich and Emily, burning has become a legitimate strategy. You can run Durin with Kinich, Emily, and Bennett. Bennett buffs everyone's attack, Emily benefits from the burning enemies, Kinich deals the dendro damage, and Durin is there making sure the fire never goes out. His resistance shred kicks in, and because burning is a constant reaction, his support uptime is basically 100%. If you want to play him as the main character, you can run a Durin hypercarry team. This is where you use the darkness state. You pair him with Mona for the big damage omen, Zelonin or Kazuha for the shred and buffs, and Farina for the damage ramp-up. In this team, Durin is the one on screen. You are vaping his hits, you are melting his hits, and because of that 40% buff from his darkness state, his numbers get pretty silly. However, there is a challenge here. Durin is squishy. If you are running him on field without a shielder, you need to be good at dodging. The Dragon of Dark Decay helps deal damage, but it doesn't protect you. This is why I generally recommend the support route for most players. It's safer and provides more value to the whole team. Let's be real about something though. The hardest part about Durin isn't the build, it's the muscle memory. I cannot tell you how many times I have swapped to him, used his skill, and then accidentally normal attacked out of habit, triggering the darkness state when I wanted the purity state. You ruin your whole rotation. You lose the team buffs. You just have a selfish dragon hitting a single enemy while your main DPS cries in the corner. You need to practice. Go to a domain, find some hilichurls, and just practice the sequence. Skill, then skill again for support. Skill, then attack for damage. Drill it into your head. Also, pay attention to the cooldowns. His dragons stay on the field for a decent amount of time, but you want to make sure you are rotating through your other characters efficiently so you are back on Durin right as his cooldowns end. If you leave him off field too long, you lose damage. If you swap to him too early, you are just standing there awkwardly waiting for his skill icon to light up. So is Durin a must-pull? If you play Pyro teams, absolutely. The versatility he offers is rare. Usually, a character is locked into one role. Bennett is a buffer. Xiangling is an off-field DPS. Durin is a Swiss Army knife. He can fill the gap in almost any team that needs fire. If you have Arlecchino, get Durin. If you plan on playing Kinich, get Durin. Even if you just main Sino and want to try an overload team, Durin makes it feel smoother than almost any other option. Just remember the golden rule, prioritizing his burst, getting that attack stat up to at least 2,500, and knowing which dragon you are summoning before you press the button. Do that, and he will carry you through the hardest content the game has to offer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.